This Valentine's Day, get a Heart Baker pizza from Papa Murphy's. You complete us. And we mean that literally. With Take and Bake, we prepare it, you make it yours. So make us yours today. Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
Let's talk about ESPN here on the Monty Show. ESPN. Here's a question for you. Is ESPN TV good or bad?
I would say it's average.
I can't watch the talking head TV on ESPN. The only talking head TV I usually watch is Jim Rome. And that's only because, A, I used to work for him, and B, Jake forces it down my throat every day.
That's right.
But now I've gotten into it. I can't watch Colin Cowherd. I just don't respect his opinion because he is way off. And one day he'll say LeBron's a hack. The next day he'll be like, LeBron's the greatest player ever. I have trouble with that. So when I say to you, hey, is ESPN TV good or bad? What does that mean to you?
I mean, it's okay. It's average. Like, I think, I think it was yesterday we got, Jay Williams and Stephen A., getting into, essentially a fight on the air about Kyrie and, what Stephen A. thought of Kyrie and all this stuff. And it's like the talking head stuff out of ESPN is just okay. It's not amazing. I think the bigger issue I have is the programming side. Like, there are so many times on ESPN where I'm, waiting for a game to start and it's preempted by, like volleyball or like some softball game or some rando college basketball game that ESPN had contracted to fill time that went to double overtime. And now I don't get LeBron or I don't get what I was waiting for. And so that's upsetting to me. And so over the weekend, what do we get? We get the NFL Pro Bowl on ESPN. And in concept, I'm fine with that. Don't have any issue with it. But what I took issue with is that the flag football game for the Pro Bowl on ESPN ran a little long. And so what did ESPN do? Well, ESPN moved the Knicks game to ESPN News, and people were pissed. People were like, dude, like, I don't get ESPN News. That's an extra as part of the package. Now, of course, I have ESPN News because I got the sports package with DirecTV, and I pay through the ass, and it's costing me my life savings. That's here nor there, though. My point is that ESPN does this, and it's frustrating when you have to go and search for things because ESPN has contracted something like the Pro Bowl. And what people were really upset about is it's the Pro Bowl. And so my question is, the Pro Bowl, what did you think of the Pro Bowl on ESPN? Because I got to tell you, I wasn't super invested in the Pro Bowl on ESPN. I wasn't like, oh man, like, I got to watch this. I got to be a part of it. It's can't miss TV. That wasn't my experience with the Pro Bowl. My experience with the Pro Bowl is the same as it ever was, which is, hey, it's the Pro Bowl. That's great that you got new events, like you've got flag football, like you've got this quarterback accuracy challenge, you've got all this stuff, Great. You guys innovated a little bit on the Pro Bowl. But I didn't have that excitement around it like I have around Knicks, and I think it was Sixers, I believe, was the matchup. I was looking forward to that game. And to me, it's like, dude, like, I understand the Pro Bowl is a big deal, but I feel like the Knicks are a bigger deal. The Knicks on ESPN, to me, is a bigger deal, especially since the Knicks are halfway decent this year. If the Knicks sucked and, like, they were out of the playoff picture and they were that kind of team this year, I get it. You have no right to be upset about it, but the Knicks are actually good this year. The Knicks are actually, like, making some noise in the East this year. So to me, I was like, dude, I can't believe that ESPN is moving this game because of the Pro Bowl. I just couldn't believe it. Welcome back.
I mean, the people at Audi are ridiculous. So my phone's been ringing. So the guy sent me a text saying, hey, I need to talk to you. So I called him back, and he's like, yeah, the car will be done today. I don't think there's anything else we're going to have to do, in my experience. And he's like, do you want us to bring you the car?
Yeah, I do.
I told him I'd come pick it up. But he's like, do you want us to bring the car to you? I know, because I told him I had a busy day today. He's like, you want us to drop the car off? Where should we drop the car off? I'm like, no, I'll come by and get it. I love good service. As far as ESPN goes.
Yeah.
It's the Pro Bowl. It's the NFL. I have no problem with them bumping the Knick game in the regular season in February for the NFL Pro Bowl.
Where are you at on the Pro Bowl itself? Because this is an important piece of this conversation, in my opinion. We're different on this. Like I just spent 5 minutes talking about, I wasn't huge on the Pro Bowl this year, but
I
you
loved
liked
it. I thought the flag football game was really compelling. Mrs. Monty and I watched a few minutes of it, and I loved everything I was watching. I thought the moment with Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, I think the Andrews touchdown catch from Tyler Huntley, like I just look at some of the bigger moments in that game. I look at Peyton Manning being all pissed about a missed call at a flag football game. I thought it was amazing. I thought the on-field mics, I thought the on-field interviews, I thought ESPN crushed it. I'm not leaving the Pro Bowl early for Knicks basketball. We're not doing, it's the NFL, man. It was everything that we've all complained about. And the problem is you didn't watch it. And so you didn't see like the on-field mic stuff. You didn't see the player interaction. It was compelling, regardless of it being an exhibition flag football game.
That's where I have trouble when you say it's the NFL. It's not the NFL. It's the Pro Bowl.
But it's some of the biggest. It is Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill. And Tyreek Hill got absolutely lit up. It was a great moment. And then to talk to him about it and to have Peyton Manning mic'd up and like, it was a really good moment. I'm not saying that means that Knicks basketball is insignificant. We're not leaving the Pro Bowl with this stuff going on to go to a regular season NBA game. Sorry, that's why we have the ESPN family of networks.
I don't know, dude. I think that I don't know.
I think the far bigger issue is guys like Stephen A. Smith and guys like, Chris Russo, and you're trying to hang on to these guys because you haven't, in my opinion, at ESPN, developed new, younger talent. And it's not unlike politics because I'm tired of the same old dogs.
Right.
I'm tired of Stephen A. Smith yelling at me. I'm tired of, having bad Sports Center talent where, the morning Sports Center, I actually really look forward to it every day when it's good talent, but you're giving me people who barely speak English, who don't know sports terminology. It drives me crazy, right? It drives me crazy. And I feel like ESPN owes us more than that. You're the worldwide leader in sports, and I think the viewer has played a big role in their development into that over the decades.
Agreed.
But I think they forget with guys like Stephen A. Smith, I don't want somebody yelling at me all the time.
Facts.
And I don't want somebody, like spewing hatred at me all the time. I also don't want politics on my sports talk shows. That's why we do so little of it here. There are some you can't get away from. I thought some of the stuff they did with the Chinese balloon was actually really funny.
Yeah.
And I think they should be doing that. But where did I watch that? On ESPN Plus is where I watched that, right? I think when it comes to the television product, they're slipping. And the issue for me is when I'm exposed to ESPN, it's a live broadcast of a game, college basketball last night, the NBA, like I'm exposed to it in that sense. And then there's only two other shows that I get exposed to on a daily basis, Morning Sports Center and Scott Van Pelt's Sports Center. When you start messing with those, it's a problem. I intentionally avoid First Take. I do.
Yeah.
But then I look at FS1 and I never watch FS1. I cannot never.
Like never.
Never. Because I think that Colin Cowherd has become unwatchable and unlistenable since he left ESPN.
Because it's garbage.
And there were times, like when I worked in real estate, I'd be rolling around Scottsdale listening to it. Can't do it anymore. I don't know what's happened to him. I can't, like the whole Skip and Shannon thing. We talked about this when Skip went off about DeMar Hamlin.
Yep.
I can't do it anymore.
Well, where was Colin?
I know who Skip is. Colin was nowhere to be found on DeMar Hamlin.
And that's the problem.
But again, in all full disclosure, I worked for Jim Rome back in the day. But where was Jim Rome on DeMar Hamlin? Right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about it, having an opinion on it, having people on about, like, exactly. Jim Rome's the guy, right? So I have an issue with their inability to be confident talking about Brittany Griner in prison.
Yeah.
Talking about, and any time like this Breonna Stewart stuff. It got so ugly on Twitter with Breonna Stewart. It's really unfortunate. Like, we did a YouTube short on it, and the comments that YouTube held for review are disgusting. That's the problem with Skip and Shannon. That's the problem with Stephen A. Smith. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, I would say and this is really how I look at both depending on how I'm consuming it, right? But like both visual mediums and simply just spoken word, like the radio or even in the podcast realm, right? Like I look at it and I say, okay, does this show feel like it's scripted? Does it feel like it is just sort of check the box kind of show? Or does it feel like I'm getting that genuine nature, that sort of fabric of conversation that we all really want? Because like our show is an example. I listen to our show all the time. I critique myself. I listen to it probably 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm not saying I listen to it front to back, right? But what I do is I'll listen to some of our more controversial stuff. I'll listen to, the biggest discussion we had on any given day just to see how it feels from your guys' perspective, because it's really important to me. And I feel like on our show, we do a pretty good job of bringing that genuine nature. That's what we really work and strive for. But like with Colin and like with Stephen A. and First Take, I don't feel like I'm getting that. Like, that's the problem. That's what's missing.
Right. I think because all of that stuff is scripted.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people realize that. The stuff on, like First Take, the stuff on even Jim Rome. I don't know how many people realize that Jim Rome is heavily scripted. Like he says nothing off the top of his head, which by the way is one of the first things I ever learned is you never talk off the top of your head. You have to be educated. You have to be ready with your opinion on stuff. But on ESPN, the problem is they're so off script that they say stuff that is so outlandish that you can't back it up.
Right.
It's just become unwatchable. And I think sports talk, the issue in general has become that there are no conversations. Like the listener isn't part of the equation. The viewer isn't part of the equation. So it's just two guys yelling at each other. And I think you have to have a way to have differing opinions. I think we've gotten into a place, and I know this is probably not the most popular opinion, I think we've gotten into a place where we force women into situations where they're not prepared and they're not ready to talk about a certain thing. So they're going to take a beating. But you know what the funny thing about that is? Who do I miss on Colin's show? I miss Joy Taylor, something fierce on the Herd. I thought she was an integral part of the success of that show. And now it's just dudes talking sports. And for my money, it just is not good. Mm-hmm. And so I'll go to like any of the streaming options and they're just not good. There's nothing to hold me there. And I think that's why I need JJ Redick. I need the younger cut of guy that is newer. That is like, I think this is why Rex Chapman does so well on his podcast and does so well on Twitter.
Right.
Because he's a new guy that's educated and doesn't mind giving his opinion. I think that's huge. If you look at the explosion of video podcasts, your guy, Kevin Durant, has a compelling podcast. Let's Go with Tom Brady is a compelling podcast. But if it was just Jim Gray alone on Let's Go, I'd never watch it or never listen to it.
But because he's secondary.
And because it's Tom Brady, I'm going to go there and listen to him.
Facts.
Did you catch Let's Go this week? It's Tom Brady and Bill Belichick talking about their time together. How are you not watching that?
Yeah, I like football. I like football season, all the things that go with it.
How are you not watching that? That's the amazing thing. And I also think that we've gotten into this place where in sports and in television largely, and if you look at Fox News, CNN, and this is why I bring this back, we did a short on CNN yesterday that did pretty well for us. What's wrong with CNN was the title of this short.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's Don Lemon. I'm telling you, Don Lemon has become unwatchable. But what is Don Lemon to CNN? Don Lemon is black. Don Lemon is gay. Don Lemon is a guy that has a massive appeal and reach, but he's so unwatchable that appeal and reach is being wasted.
Well, it's like they think, hey, because he's black, because he's gay, because he has this following in this reach, that we can just put a script in his hand. He can read that script and run through a program, and that'll be enough to get us, ratings and viewership and all that good stuff. But that's not true. You could look like a cave troll, but if your conversation is compelling and it interests people and they feel like their opinion's valued, like the comment section, they're going to be there for it.
Well, and I think if you come back to CNN, who's your favorite personality at CNN?
Caitlin Collins.
And what is Caitlin Collins? She's young. She's smart and she's attractive. And she's on the biggest stories in the world, which is where you ran into her was the White House.
Yeah.
Right? She's covering the White House. That's a huge story. She was really sharp. She's beautiful. She's smart, like intelligent. She has good opinions.
Yes.
How many people at Fox News can you say that about? Because I think when you look at the ratings, Fox News is a behemoth.
Yeah.
But how many people are still not watching Fox News? A ton. How much money have they lost? A ton. You look at CNN, nobody's watching CNN. It's like, and I'm not even exaggerating. I was looking at these numbers last night, getting ready to talk about this. CNN has 312,000 people watching their morning show.
Which may seem like a big number, but in reality, it's tiny.
1.7 million people watch Fox and Friends. That's how little viewership CNN has.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, me and Mrs. Monty tend to watch the news sometimes at night. We can't watch CNN. The whole network is unwatchable. So we find ourselves going to Paramount Plus over the weekend and finding the mayor of Kingstown.
Mm-hmm.
Or, she loves her genealogy shows, or we'll watch Chicago PD or Law and Order or any of the other myriad of things that will allow us not to focus on CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or ESPN or FS1 or CBS. But that's the problem. The programming's not compelling.
Yes.
All right, let's get your thoughts in here. Yusuf, good morning to you, my friend. Good to see you. Gabriel, good morning, says ESPN and Fox Sports is where there is so much toxic stuff on NBA Twitter. They all want to push BS narratives and put fans to be combative with each other all the time.
And that's the other thing.
I think there's something to that.
I agree with that a lot. I feel like the big networks feel like fighting is compelling conversation. Again, what was I referencing while my guy here was on the phone with Audi? The Stephen A. Jay Williams fight yesterday, that's not compelling.
Unwatchable.
It's uncomfortable. It's unwatchable. It's like, and to hear, I can't remember her name, I'm sorry, but the female host on that show, who's usually there, she's out today, but she's usually there, is like, hey, this is becoming personal. We need to move on. She's literally saying we need to move on. This is becoming personal. And Jay Williams just goes in, yeah, it is personal. And yeah, it was getting to a point where it was like, dude, we need to chill out.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I think that's a great point, man. It's not hot take high is not the right thing.
Yep, I agree. NY Monty fan, a member of the program. And by the way, if you guys are not members of the show, we'd really encourage you. We'd love to get to 100 members. We're at 80 right now. And so if we could just get 20 more people to become members, that would be amazing. And what you get is you get access into our members-only Instagram chat group. Last night it was on fire during the Jazz game.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl, college football, life, we built this great community. You get exclusive videos, you get all of our inside Jazz and NBA news first in our group. There's a lot of value. Mrs. Monty will eventually drop our merch line. Probably not, but eventually she might.
It's probably different than what you're thinking, though.
You'll get first access to that. There is a lot of good stuff that you get only right here on the Monty Show when you are a member. So please consider clicking the membership link right there to join the group. It's $9.99 a month. And by the way, you can cancel at any time. And my Monty fan says they also have a ton of craft the narratives to the liking of their audience. Liking underdogs don't bring in the majority of viewership. It's a business and they need a large audience to make money.
Yeah.
I think, looking at ESPN this morning, when you have a guy like a Dan Orlovsky on, Dan Orlovsky's making you money because it's hard. And by the way, there are a lot of bars and restaurants who ESPN is just on, right? So they're going to get that business. But I think when you look at ESPN Plus, I think that's the cash cow for ESPN. Mm-hmm. I have no doubt about that. I look at some of the names that they have on their prime shows on TV. I just don't know how many people does Rob Ninkovich relate to? How many people even know who that is? How many people, I just think that you have a bunch of people that are not compelling personalities.
Yes.
And I think that's the issue. If you turn on any of the all sports streaming channels, it's hard to connect to people. It's hard to, Scott Farrell's a guy that's in a very interesting spot because I've known Scott since he was yay high to a grasshopper in talk radio. Mm-hmm. I listen to Scott on a pretty regular basis. You don't like him. He's not a guy that you can connect to.
He's just a guy. I mean, I know him from CBS Sports Radio. That's where I know him from. I think that I remember him in his overnight days too. I think he was really dynamic in overnight. Someone says, "Oh, well, nobody listens to radio overnight," and that's totally untrue. That's totally unfounded. Sports talk
Third
radio
shift,
overnight is huge, and I know you have direct experience with it. Like, like it's a big deal. But I just think that. Listen, I just think that showing up and doing a show because you have a name or because you played football or because you have a certain voice, that's not good enough anymore, man. It's not good enough. I'm not just tuning in now because Buddy's name is Jim Rome. Do you know the only reason I listen to Jim or even like Jim? It's not because Jim is some great guy or because he has some phenomenal show. But what I'm here for is the funny stuff, the unique, funny stuff that you're not going to get on other shows. And I'm not certainly saying that Jim's show is better than every show out there. I'm just simply saying that I know I can go there every week except Super Bowl week, and I can get some dumb caller calling in and making an ass of himself, or I can get, some funny ass take about all these conspiracy theorists with Damar Hamlin, and I can get unique stuff.
Yes, that's right.
Like the only reason I listen to Jim. I got to tell you, when he starts interviewing random writer guy, I turn the show off.
But what are we not listening to because we're listening to Jim Rome?
Yeah, local radio in this town.
Nothing local.
Nothing. There's nothing to hold on to.
There really isn't. I agree. TBE at DK's says, I don't think they would be allowed to truly be unscripted because of how many viewers there are. They won't allow true personal opinions. Oh, I think at ESPN, having worked there, your personal opinion matters, but there are things you're not going to talk about. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things we love about doing our own show is we can talk about whatever we want. But when you go into a corporate atmosphere, you have to understand, I agree with you, DK. There's just some things you're not going to talk about and some things in a certain way you won't. Gabriel says, I feel like ever since Stephen A. got that big bag from ESPN, he's lost his touch from back in the day. I would agree with that. Totally. Jeff says, that's right, Jake. ESPN is super scripted. I watch for more entertainment purposes and watch you guys for content and information. Well, I think there's absolutely part about it. I mean, they are. I don't know that you do watch ESPN to be entertained.
Well, I mean, from a talking heads perspective, no. The only thing I will say, the only thing that I watch on ESPN that I look forward to is Dan Orlovsky and Ryan Clark breaking down football. I love that.
But I don't need to watch, and this is part of the problem in media as well. I don't need to watch ESPN to get Adam Schefter, to get Woj, to get
right.
They're on Twitter, man.
Yep.
I get them on Twitter. So I don't turn on the TV to be like, oh, I wonder what's happening in the NBA. I get it on Twitter already.
Yep. So
I think there's a big part of that. Telling Screaming A to calm down is like telling a volcano not to erupt. Tanner says that could be. Matthew says it's a business, that's for sure. Look at every single Disney product, not just ESPN. It uses the zeitgeist as a cash cow. That could be. I think they're very tailored, as you would expect them to be.
Yeah,
as you would expect them to be.
The complaint is not that it's tailored or that it's scripted. My complaint is that
it's not
the
good.
Script is
it's
dry.
not
it's not good. It's not funny.
Yes.
Like we all know, the NFL is scripted. It's funny. It's entertaining. Sorry.
Okay, there you go.
The NFL is scripted. That was a joke. You can't even humor me and laugh.
No, because I'm not here for that. Because what that does is it opens the bear cage, and the bear comes out, and all of a sudden you're getting mauled by the NFL.
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
I'm not going to entertain your nonsense. Don't you dare hijack the show. Damar Hamlin's dead. Don't you do it.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry, flat earthers, my bad.
So you think the NFL is scripted?
I don't. Okay. I just wanted to make the joke because it was funny.
Sam Locke, good morning to you, says, watching Hardy not own his team's bad defense in his post-game interview was absolute BS. And why in the hell was Doak playing last night?
Dude, Sam, you're pissed, dude. You were in the chat last night like going full Screaming A on
I don't understand the Udoka Azubuike thing. Talking jazz, by the way. Udoka Azubuike, who I think, I could be wrong, I think he actually played college basketball. You can't tell by the way he plays with the Jazz. He's not athletic enough, and he just looks lost to me. That's the thing. If he were mentally there, he could get physically there. Homie just doesn't know what to do when he's on the floor. And I don't know why you just don't send him down to the G League and leave him there.
Please.
He's not playing up here. And why are you not, if they're going to be on the team, why are you not playing Talon Horton-Tucker?
Yeah.
And NAW, look, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, I don't know what he did to wind up in the relegated doghouse, Sam, but he's in the doghouse. No doubt. RR says, I like to watch talking heads to shout at each other. But that's just what it is, kind of like reality TV or something. It is what it is, but sometimes it entertains me.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
And if that's your flavor, there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Not at all. NY Monty fan says, I'd be interested to know what subscribership is of ESPN Plus versus what is left in the pie chart. They might have the majority because they are the only ones. Are they the only ones, though?
Well, I think they're the only ones that do sports talking heads decently well. Like, again, we're sitting here having a conversation about Screamin' A or some of these other shows, but the reality is like, at least with ESPN, you can have it on because you know that if something happens in the sports world, they're going to talk about it immediately. So you know that, like, that's the only reason I have ESPN on, like in the background generally, because I know, okay, if we're doing the show, I know that the ticker is going to be red and say breaking news if something happens.
But here's the problem. What are we going to get when there's no breaking news? Aaron Rodgers is holding the Packers hostage.
Wow.
Something Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
During the season, all kinds of Red Sox and Yankees.
Yeah.
That's what you get from ESPN.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yep.
And it drives it. Like, I wish ESPN was less reliant on the NFL and specifically Dallas and Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay, because that's all we ever get. And now that Tommy is retired, I'm curious who the next drama queen quarterback ESPN's going to come up with, because it's just so frustrating that all we get on ESPN is the Dallas Cowboys and Aaron Rodgers holding the Packers hostage.
Yeah.
We need more diversity, in my opinion. Big Dog O-Town, what's up? Hope you're good up there in Ogden. He says, that's why I don't watch mainstream nothing sports. News nothing. The woke movement is off the chain. All my viewing is on YouTube for everything program.
Everything program.
Appreciate you, dude.
Yeah,
but I also, you know, the people locally, there's only one streaming option outside of us locally, and that's BYU Sports Nation. And it's okay. It's very dry for me. But if you're a BYU fan, BYU Sports Nation is the go-to show.
But even a BYU fan can't get away from the fact that it's BYU Sports Nation. But you know, when you listen to that, you're going to get the news, and I appreciate that. And that's why I say, like, that's why I always think it's funny. People are like, oh, well, Locked On Jazz or BYU Sports Nation or any of these other, programs that allegedly compete with us. Like, I don't even think it's like, I don't even like to use the word compete, because Locked On Jazz's product is different than our product.
Yeah.
It's different than BYU Sports Nation. Is different than, a radio show in this town. Like, it's just different.
Because we are the product. The two of us are the product. On BYU Sports Nation, BYU is the product. On Locked On Jazz, David Locke's bought and paid for by the Jazz. So the Jazz are the product.
Right.
You just don't have a lot of content in this town that is the human being. There really isn't a radio show that's not owned and operated by some major corporation or the church. You don't have a TV stream or a TV show that's not. There are really no original sports television shows in this town. Mm-hmm. And there really is no original streaming in this town that's driven by personalities. And it, to me anyway, I think that's an issue. That's an issue. That's why we exist.
Right.
That's the only reason we exist, because there was a vacuum for what we do. So, and by the way, it's helped us immensely. It's put us in the Maverick Center, partnered with the Maverick Center and the Utah Grizzlies to build a studio. Like, it's made all of this possible.
Yeah.
It puts now well over 200,000 people in a month on our show.
Yeah.
Like, it's made this the biggest sports talk show in Utah. It's crazy. But there's nobody else who does what we do.
Yeah.
And I think that ESPN is largely in that space right now. But who's really competing with ESPN?
Nobody. I
mean, you think about what ESPN has live sports-wise. How do you screw it up? You have the NFL. You have college football in the biggest college football.
Yep.
You have college basketball. You have the NBA and the biggest NBA on ESPN and ABC.
Mm-hmm.
You really, I mean, you have baseball, you have the NHL again. Like, there's not a sport you don't have. You own the UFC.
F1.
You have F1. You have, I mean, what don't you have that you need?
You even have, don't they even carry golf sometimes too?
Yes.
And wasn't, or that was TNT, huh? TNT had the match or whatever with
Yes.
Brady and Mickelson and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
ESPN and ABC even have the Masters. Like, what else do you want?
And again, as someone who's not I like playing golf. I like getting out on the course. Like, I love that just as much as anyone. But I'm not going to shy away from the fact that I'm not like a golf expert, No. But the Masters is something that I get excited about because it is the Masters. It's Augusta. It's like a thing. Like, so I love that that's on ESPN.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a conversation we wanted to have because I just don't think that it's really tough with the media landscape these days because you're not getting anything that's not heavily pre-scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Like parameters of conversation. You get very little unscripted, real discussion.
Yeah.
And when it is, it's Stephen A. Smith screaming at somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's Skip Bayless yelling at somebody so people don't watch. And I think everybody thought cord cutting was because of politics. It wasn't because of politics. We now know that people who cord cut still watch ESPN.
Yep.
Right? I mean, that's the reality of it. Gabriel says, my father, who casually watches sports with me, always questions why First Take is nothing but screaming. And that shows how ESPN is turning away potential viewers with that nonsense. Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yusuf, good morning, says, please give a moment and a thought of the people affected by the earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Dude, I mean, the sheer... you guys certainly have seen the tape out of Turkey. I mean, the
devastation,
the
bro.
buildings that just simply are not there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of people trapped in those buildings, my God. I don't even know where you go with that. Tanner says, BYU Sports Nation sucks out loud. Most of the people there are massive homers, and when BYU loses, they look for every excuse in the book. I've maybe watched 5 times. It's not a bad product. It's what you would expect. If you're BYU, don't you love it?
Yeah, I mean it's.
I think you do.
Look, Tanner's a BYU guy, and I respect the opinion. But
Tanner's also the sports fan that is on that negative slant, which I'm not attacking you, but the Eagles suck. They're in the Super Bowl. Oh, they're going to lose. They're in the Super Bowl. BYU sucks, and BYU like that. There is a huge sect of sports fandom, that is on that side of it.
Yeah.
And the truth about BYU Sports Nation is it doesn't suck. It's not elite. It just is what they need it to be.
Correct.
That's it.
I agree completely.
Nobody in this town wants to be elite. Nobody in this town wants to suck. Everybody just wants to make money.
Do what we're done.
We're going to be right in the middle.
Yep.
We're not going to have any ratings. We're going to make a little bit of money. We're not going to spend any money to be really elite. We're not going to do video. We're not going to ask hard. Like, that's the problem in Utah. It lacks. And you know what? Who knows? We make headway every day with somebody. Someday, somewhere, it'll be. MY Monty fan says a couple of hacks on YouTube own the Utah market. Bunch of hacks versus haters. Hey, man. I appreciate that. MY Monty fan also says, I go to the Monty Show podcasts, and, well, that's it. Thank you. That's awesome.
And, and again, I always clarify this, but we're trying to get away from the narrative that we're a podcast because we're not. We're not a podcast, dude. And New York Monty fan, I'm not criticizing you per se. The real problem is, the issue is nobody understands how to use YouTube. Nobody understands, like in our industry, like clearly people know how to use YouTube, but in the sports world, people don't understand YouTube, bro.
So somebody came to us the other day and was like, you know what? You guys talk about having 200,000 views a month. I mean, you're full of crap. You only have 10,000 subscribers. And my response to that was, that's exactly, you just keep believing that. It's amazing. And this was a major media professional sports guy who is in our demographic. He's I think, between you and me in age, he's around 40. and he has no idea how YouTube works. No idea. And I explain it to him, and he's like, oh. Oh.
And then
okay.
what happens? What happens? This is my favorite part, because this has happened probably 6, 7, 8 times. You explain all this to them, they start to understand the metrics and how it works and why subs and views don't correlate, and they start to understand it all. And then you just say, you know what? You don't take my word for it. Go on YouTube, search Utah Jazz. Tell me what comes up. Do a search.
Oh, the Locked On Jazz will be first. Okay. Oh, the Utah Jazz. Okay. Like, go knock yourself out, kid.
Do it.
Like,
do it, dude. Do it.
And the best part is that when people finally recognize the power of YouTube, they still don't have any idea how to harness it. And it's going to happen. Everybody's going to figure it out because people have stopped turning on the radio.
Yeah.
And we talked to an advertiser yesterday.
Oh, that was the funny thing. That was the other thing, dude. We've had like 4 people in the last probably 8 weeks be like, how are you guys getting all these advertisers? How does that, how? You don't have ratings. No, but I can tell you in the last minute, 40 people watched the show. I could tell you like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I could tell you, how many people and how many people a month.
We know. And YouTube's analytics have a long way to go.
They do, yes.
A long way to go.
Yes.
But they tell us, hey, this state is your number one state, this region, this general area,
yes,
Salt Lake City,
yes,
metropolitan area. But they can tell you this many people watch it, like quite literally, like Jake just said. YouTube will tell you, okay, in this minute, this many people watched it. Here's how long they watched this video for. Mm-hmm. That's why we know that the average person watches our yesterday, the average person watched our live show for 27 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They watch, like, we get those. So it's just funny to see when you tell people, okay, well, listen, man, subscribers mean nothing in terms of how many people watch your channel. It means nothing. YouTube is all about SEO. They have a very specific criteria for how to build your videos. And, like their algorithm is not hard to understand, but they have a very specific way to get in the algorithm. Mm-hmm. Play the game, you get a ton of people watch your videos. Don't play the game, you don't get a lot of people that watch your videos. You either have to be part of a big brand like the Jazz, or you have to play the SEO game really well, like we do. Because we don't have the built-in audience of working for the Jazz, right?
We don't have ESPN behind us.
It's not that difficult, you guys. And it's crazy how many people do. Tom says, not bad. Live shows make me think of a play, though. Okay. TBE at DK says, mainstream media is losing its fame. YouTube and other outlets are definitely picking up. Oh, my God.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Gumby Too Sexy says program. Exactly right.
Program.
Ken Williams says YouTube is the future of entertainment. Exactly right.
Yes, Ken.
Exactly right.
Yes, sir.
No doubt about it. Tom says, Jake, how would you describe the show in less than 2 words? What's a better description than podcast?
A better description of podcasts in 2 words doesn't exist. But my description of it would be a live sports talk show.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that people hear live streaming and they immediately go to podcast. And I don't know how that correlation was. And I'm not saying that about our show. I'm saying in general, when I've said to people, hey, we're a live streaming sports talk show. Oh, you mean a podcast? Well, no, a podcast is record your content, whether that's an audio file or video file, whatever it is, then publish that after the fact. That's the true definition of a podcast.
Yeah, I think a podcast is a pre-recorded thing that, hey, Jimmy and Kevin just got off of work. They produce it, they post it, and it lives for a week, and then next week they're going to do another one. Like, we're every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The other advantage of YouTube.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Facial recognition.
Yeah. It's crazy. MY Monty fan says, everyone has a voice on the Monty Show, right or wrong, you have a voice. Yeah, we don't believe in capping anybody.
Yeah.
You're all entitled to your opinion,
We've capped
man.
one person on this show, and that's because they were making fake accounts to attack listeners.
Yep. Keaton Lyon says, hi.
What's up,
hi,
Keaton? Where are you from, bro? What's your team? What's your deal?
I believe his picture is of Dak Prescott.
Oh, Cowboys fan. Okay.
I love it.
Okay, let's go.
I love it.
Let's
Eric
go.
C. says, RSL should move to San Diego. People here love soccer. Dude, I love soccer. I just need the MLS to step up. MLS has to be better.
You know what we almost
field.
talked about today? We almost talked about City and relegation.
Manchester
in the Premier
City,
League.
yeah. We almost did. I couldn't do it. What's up, Mark Rasmussen says amen. James Knight says, can you guys tell me why Jordan Poole wasn't tossed last night for a crude act? Yeah, Jordan Poole is on the edge of being sent to Houston or Nowhereville, NBA.
No.
Because he is quickly acting his way out of Golden State.
Yeah.
And he is, dude, I'm just telling you. Jeremy Bolton says, hey, Monty in the morning is the best showgram.
Monty.
Exactly right. Showcast.
Program.
Kenai Johnson says showcast. A podcast is not live. I would agree with that. NY Monty fan says interactive sportscast. Gumby Too Sexy says a live program.
Yeah, that's how I choose to say it. It's a live sports talk show. That's what it is.
Giggity says two studs.
Program.
So it's two studs.
What's up, big bro?
Me and who else, though? Who's the other stud, though?
I'm not too familiar with that.
Travis Bird says, sorry, Monty, I've been telling everybody you're the king of podcasts. That's fine, dude. That's the way you describe it. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Whatever you say, you're the best thing to come into my life since Disney Plus.
Appreciate you, bro.
Okay, I appreciate you. Look forward to meeting you someday. Gabriel says the program sound effect is satisfying somehow.
Program.
Geoff says, I call you guys a sports talk show. Appreciate
Perfect.
that, Jeff.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Capazzo says, I think you're onto something there with the interactive sportscast.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
Yep.
I don't hate that.
Yep. Mark Hales. Good morning, Mark. How are you, man? Says, podcasts come from the iPod broadcast. You are a sports broadcast. There you go.
There you go.
Appreciate that. Tanner says, I would need a wellness check if RSL moved out of Utah. I agree. Teddy, what's up, Teddy? Good to see you, dude. Thought about you in the shower this morning.
Whoa. Whoa.
You know, I joke. I didn't know I did. I've been thinking about buying a cold tub at some point. Would I use a cold tub 5 days a week? If we
did YouTube on it, we would.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what I have to do. I have to have some sort of, and I've been doing pretty good with the cold shower thing, but a cold tub is next level. Like what Teddy does is nothing, or what I do is nothing compared to what Teddy does.
But I'm up to 4 minutes in the cold shower this morning, but I'm standing there just like dying because I've also done a lot of research on this, and they say when you get into the cold shower or the cold tub, you actually need to move your arms and you need to not stand still in the cold shower. And Huberman was saying, hey, just rock back and forth, because what happens is, what I was doing is I would put my hands on the wall and I would just let the water run down my face and my chest, and then I'll like stick my head all the way through to run down my back or whatever, and I would just stand there, and you get used to it. And Huberman says that's because your body puts a layer between you and the cold water to protect you. So what you need to do is rock back and forth, and then your body won't do that because it doesn't have the consistent source of cold.
Yeah.
Dude, it hurts. It hurts. And I'd had a little bit of that when you sit in cold water, and Teddy, I'm sure you can attest to this, because Teddy sits in a huge trough of ice cold water. And Teddy's doing like 5 minutes, like he's next level. But when I rock back and forth in the cold water now, it actually makes my collarbones hurt. It makes my upper back, like I get pain because that water, it's crazy, dude.
But I gotta think like for these, I follow a couple of Instagram accounts now that do cold plunge in a tub outside. And I gotta think that, not that Huberman's wrong, but just the thought of like submerging in that cold of water, even for 3 minutes. Because in a tub, you're probably not going to move a whole lot.
Dude.
Like, I could see trying to move your arms or whatever, but you're not, like all the guys I watch, they just sit there. They don't move a whole lot. And I have to think that in the shower, moving's probably important, but I couldn't do, mentally, I don't think I'm tough enough to do a cold tub routine 5 days or 7 days, or like to do 90 days in a row without the YouTube accountability. I'd have to have, or even just Instagram accountability. I'd have to have that.
Yeah, dude. Talking with Raphael podcast says my podcast is live. Oh, is it really? That's awesome, dude.
There you go.
That's awesome. Put a link in the chat, dude. Where
Yeah,
can we
do
get
it.
your podcast? Let's get you going, dude. Jeremy Bolton says Monty and the white polo guy.
The white polo guy.
I agree.
That's right, Pete.
Eric C says, how many people in Monty Town even know RSL has a title. How many people know? Tanner knows.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Tanner's our RSL guy. Giggity says the Kawhi laugh greater than program. You know what, Giggity? I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Kenai Johnson says Jeremy Bolton, love it. Exactly. Monty and the white polo guy. Yusuf says you guys are the only show I make time for. Yep, I agree. James Knight says I hope they trap him all night and let some other mofo score. There you go.
James, you're a little passionate about Jordan Poole, my man.
I am not a Jordan Poole guy. I'm not. Nick Hines says Teddy is an animal. He is, Nick.
Dude. The guy is, I mean, man.
Jeremy Bolton says when Teddy Wayman does a push-up, he isn't lifting himself up. He's pushing the earth down.
That's right. That's
what
right.
I'm saying.
I'm going to get medieval on your ass.
That's what I'm saying. Yusuf says if you don't do the ice bath in minimal increments, actually it's bad for you.
Yeah, I don't think you should be doing 10 minutes in an ice bath each time. It's 11 minutes a week, dude.
Yeah, and Dr. Huberman will tell you it's 5 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
5 minutes. And I'm a big believer in this light in your eyes thing. That's probably a different show, but he talks about getting sunlight on your face first thing in the morning. And not to look directly into the sun, but just look in the direction of the sun where you can look comfortably.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference. And I'm telling you.
Well, if we ever decide to move the program to the afternoons or different schedule or something, maybe we can try that.
Yeah. Nick Hines says, but let's be honest, the rubber ducky is the real
Dude,
MVP. Yes.
I
Teddy
was
and his
such a
rubber
fan,
ducky.
Dude. The rubber ducky in the ice bath was absolutely the finishing touch.
I'm telling you guys, you should join the membership, if only to get into the Instagram exclusive group for the Monty Show.
Yes.
Teddy Wayman puts pictures of his cold plunge with a rubber ducky in his in his tub, and I'm just like, my God. San Diego State, what's up, Glenn? Interactive sports talk, I like it.
I like that.
You guys are making this sound better and better every day, LOL. I'm telling you, cold plunging's the way to go,
bro.
dude.
And it's particularly worth it if you have someone or like a couple guys that can like support you through, because it's hard, man. I won't even. It's difficult.
Dude. Louis Capazzo says to Gumby, some of us are old enough to remember the debut of the Sony Walkman. Dude, I had the first Sony Walkman I ever had.
It's an erection.
Gas, dude. It was so good.
Can you measure it?
Yes, you can. Let's see. Zach Spencer says, yes, you could. You are tough enough. Man, I think I could. Zach Spencer's another guy that cold plunges. I think I could. I think I could.
I would just need the group accountability. That's what I would need. It is, because it's difficult, bro.
It's not easy, man. It is not easy at all. Ken Williams says, I love how honest you are and how you evolve as a person on the show. If you're not a member, become one. We have a good time on the chat. No cold showers for me. I'll stick to my hot tub. That's what I'm saying.
That's my guy right
there,
I'm
telling you, the member chat on Instagram is remarkable.
It's worth the time, dude. On it, like, by the way, I would. What time is it?
8:59.
Okay, I want to play Can we play Tanner's video, please?
Yeah,
I put
where
it
is
in
it?
there.
I put it in here. All right, so Tanner had a project. Here it is right here. Tanner is in school to become a marketing genius.
Yeah.
And so one of the things he did is he made a video of us about our show for a marketing project in school. And I thought it was really cool. And I thought, Tanner, you did a great job. So without further ado, let me get this comment off the screen right here. And let me take this banner off the screen.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And then let me go and play this video. Here's Tanner's marketing project for school about our show.
Have you ever wished for a show that would talk about everything but also tries to be objective? Well, you don't have to wish anymore. The Monty Show has all of that and much more. This is a live sports show that doesn't just talk about sports. They talk about everything regarding life, whether that be jobs, politics, life advice, etc. The hosts of the show are Tim on the right and Jake Montemeyer on the left. Tim goes by Monty. Yes, they are both related. Jake is Monty's son. They started the show around 2014, but they've been on YouTube for the last 2 years plus. Monty has been in the sports talk industry for many years, and as a result, he has many connections within multiple sports franchises. Because of these connections, Monty gets inside information regarding the major decisions made by sports franchises. There was a lot of talk in the National Basketball Association that Utah Jazz star Donovan Mitchell was going to be traded. Where was he going to be traded? Nobody knew at the time. However, Monty reported on the show that his sources in the Jazz organization mentioned that they were planning to trade Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Sometime later, Monty's report turned out to be true, as Mitchell was traded to Cleveland. While it's live, Monty and Jake have enabled the live chat option for listeners to weigh in on many of the topics that they discuss. Monty and Jake have also created an exclusive club for their listeners to join. It only costs $10, and the members of the club get to have their comments read first, and they get to join an Instagram chat group. Being in the club is a lot of fun because in the chat group, you get to chat with Monty, Jake, and the rest of the members about anything. The show also does drawings for giveaways. They've given away Traeger smokers, tickets to sporting events, and game consoles. I've been a devoted listener to the show for about 2 years. And last year, I was able to win an Xbox Series X. Monty and Jake drove to where I lived to deliver it to me. I was able to talk to them for a little bit, and personally, I think they're a lot more cooler in person than they are on the show. As you can see, if you join the Monty Show, not only will you be getting truthful information about sports and other life stuff, but you'll also be able to join a community.
Wait, did he just give me a backhanded compliment? Hey, man, they're a lot cooler in person than they are on the show.
All gas, no break.
There are a couple of dicks on the show, but in person, I mean, you know. Wow, Tanner, dude, way to go. Really well done.
I really
congratulations.
Enjoyed that, dude. Yep.
Like, and thank you, dude. I'm like really flattered you would take that much time and say those things about us. Like, I'm really flattered by that, and I think you killed it, man. It was really good. You're going to get an F because our show, sucks. We're just a couple of hacks on YouTube.
Now, you know what I thought you did a great job of? And I'm being sincere. I thought you did a great job capturing, without being able to include actual show content, like sound from the show. I thought you did a great job of capturing the essence of what our show is. I thought, you did, a great job showing what the Instagram chat is about. Because that what you said is true. I mean, we talk about pretty much anything at any time in that Instagram chat, and so I wanted to do right by you and play it on the show so everyone could see it because I thought you did a great job. So thank you.
Yeah, really well done, dude. Really, really well done, Tanner. I'm happy for you, man. And you know what, dude? Anytime we can help you guys, anytime you guys need something, anytime you want us to do something for you, like if it's your birthday, tell us that. We're happy to do shout outs for you, or hey, you know what? If you want to hang out, if you want to whatever, we can figure it out. It's fun for us to meet you guys. It's fun to go down to Tanner's place and give him an Xbox, and we like doing that stuff. All right, couple more, then we got to go. Teddy Wayman says, I agree. 3 to 5 minutes is best. I only did the 14 minutes to go longer than Alma. Yeah, Alma Wayman. Wayman Brothers Construction, by the way. Coming to the crib on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope you can just repair my shower floor because I have no desire to redo my mat. Don't hire a bad contractor.
Yeah.
I pay for that. Like the faucet in my master bathroom now is turning the wrong way. So I'm going to have to get that fixed too. Oh, shit. Dude, don't hire a crappy contractor.
Yeah.
Learn from me. Hire the Wayman Brothers.
Yeah.
Because everything they've done has been my hot tub. I have a hot tub in my backyard.
Great day.
Amazing. So, Teddy, way to go, 14 minutes. What is holding you guys up from moving the show to the lunch hour? Other obligations. We are likely going to, at some point, dabble with the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And we may, I don't know, might be 3 o'clock, might be noon, I don't know. NY Monty fan says, Teddy Wayman doesn't drink coffee, but drinks a cup full of nails.
Okay.
Justin Salas, who's a member of the program. Justin, where you been, dude? Says, Teddy Wayman's tears cure cancer. Too bad he never cries.
What is this, a Dos Equis commercial? What is it? What is this, the most interesting man in the world?
His tears cure cancer. Too bad he never cries.
No. Well done, sir.
Oh, my God. Zach Spencer says, y'all, come up on Monday. Come up where?
Yeah, what are you talking
No,
about,
we'll
dude?
be in Tahoe. It doesn't matter. We'll be in Tahoe.
Is that what is he talking about? Park City, or what is he talking?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, bro?
TBE says the cold plunge, is that before or after you take a normal shower? So here's how we do it. I'm a shower guy. So like this morning, my wife was up a little early. I usually get up at 3:50.
Mm-hmm.
She was up at 3:26. So I just got out of bed and got in the shower. Took about a 10-minute hot shower. And then I put my phone, just your regular iPhone. I use the timer feature on my phone. And my toilet's right next to my shower stall. I have a smaller master bathroom. So I put the phone on the toilet and I just hit a timer for 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Today it was 4 minutes and 10 seconds because it takes me about 10 seconds to build up the willpower to turn the faucet or turn the shower head on myself.
Yeah.
So what I do is I just turn the water all the way down to as cold as I can stand it. And I'm almost all the way at the bottom to where it almost turns off a little bit. But I just turn the water all the way down. Then I turn my timer on. So I give the water time to go from hot to cold. Hit start on my timer. And then I just turn the shower head and it just sprays me. And usually what I had been doing is just letting the water hit from my cheeks down to my chest and just get used to it. But now what I've started doing is the water comes down and I just kind of rock back and forth. And I will do that for about 40 seconds, 45 seconds. And then I play this little mind game with myself where today it was at 3 minutes and 10 seconds left on the timer. I don't avoid the water flow. Like the water's coming down like right here. I don't move my head around it. I will force myself to put my face right in that water and just slowly go through it and lean my head forward until the water hits the top of my head and rolls down my back. And then I do the same thing now. I just rock back and forth a little bit. And then at about 2 minutes left, I turn around and just let the water roll down my back. And it's so painful. When you turn around and oh man, dude, it's painful. And I do that until about a minute left. And then I turn back around and I just let the water hit me right in the face for about a minute.
Yeah.
As long as I can take it. And then I'll just dip my head so I can see I have a glass shower enclosure and I just wipe the water off the glass. Timer turns to 0. I count to 10. I don't just turn the water off at 0.
Yeah.
Because it's like a mental game with myself. It's really hard. I focus on my breathing and I don't focus on the clock. I only look at it. I try to look at it 3 times. And I just focus on my breathing. And then when I see the timer hit 0, I just put my face in the water and I count down from 10. So 10, 9, 8. And the whole time I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. And then after 10-second count, I turn the water off, squeegee my glass, and I'm on my way.
There you go.
And it is absolutely just bone chilling, dude. Like it is, man.
Yeah, we have any reaction to the Tanner video? Like, did people say anything good about it or like what?
Scammer Trolling says this is damn impressive. Gumby Too Sexy says, who's Tim? That'd be me, thanks.
Hello?
Jeremy Bolton says, let's go, Tanner.
Yeah.
NY Monty fan says, Tanner freaking plumber, plumbing up. Exactly right. Yusuf says, way to go, Tanner. Teddy says, hell yeah, Tanner plumber.
Let's go.
Like, yeah, man. Tanner says, I have many mispronunciations your guy's last name. No, I don't. I may have mispronounced your last name.
Nah,
it's
You're good.
fine.
You're good.
Who knows? Nobody knows. It's fine. Jaron says, let's go. Gumby Too Sexy says, sources, bro. Exactly. Lewis says, good job putting this together, Tanner. It's great. Nick Hines says, fun to see Tanner's face. Also, am I the only one who didn't know Monty's first name?
No, you're not.
You're not. Nobody ever calls
Know your role
Tim.
and shut your mouth.
Mrs. Monty's the only one who does, yeah. Matt Ritson says, awesome. Car Wash Channel says the Jazz should trade Kelly and Conley for good three-point shooter to make Utah win. I think you're going to see Kelly and Beasley get traded to Miami.
Yeah.
That's one I would really keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Gumby Too Sexy says, hey, when's Monty going to give Jake away?
Well, when he gives me away, do you want me to stay in the white polo or would you prefer black?
Exactly. Jeremy Bolton says, however, why no Soaker logo at the end of the video? That would make this video from an A to an A+. Cold-blooded. Ken Williams says, Tanner, great job, kid.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it.
I'm telling you, Tanner, it's a really good piece.
NY Monty fan says, proud of you, Tanner. Glad you're one of us. Exactly. I'm glad you're with us, Tanner. Talking with Raphael says, that's awesome, Tanner. Proud of you. Mark Rasmussen says, very cute. Tanner says, thanks again, guys, for letting me make the video about your show. Yeah, thanks for doing it, man. James Knight says, that's taking super soaking to the stratosphere.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly right. All right, you guys, we got to go.
Yeah.
We got to roll. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here every day. Couldn't do it without you guys. If you haven't, please hit the like button. If you haven't, please join the membership. There's the link right there. Love having you guys on the show every day, man. Appreciate y'all. Until tomorrow, when I remind you again that this program is brought to you by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.